Great. Good morning. How is everyone? Great week? Great week so far? Fantastic. Before we get started, and with a quick show of hands, how many contact center stakeholders do we have in the audience today? The show of hands. Quite a few. Fantastic. And keep your hands up. Out of you, how many are being tasked with transforming your customer experience to meet customers' higher than ever customer experience expectations? Quite a few still. Fantastic. My name is Sheila Smith. I am a Principal Amazon Connect Specialist at AWS, and today I am so excited to be joined by Sebastian Cosgrove as we explore how Air Canada is innovating across lines of business. So before we get started, I'll do a quick review of the agenda so you know what to expect from today's session. First, I'm going to take you through really some of the emerging trends. The reality is that there are many disruptive forces that are impacting how organizations engage with and serve their customers. And then next, Sebastian is going to introduce us to Air Canada. Now, Air Canada had a transformative journey that I think will feel relevant to organizations of all types. He's going to step us through basically their journey to Amazon Connect and how they approach modernizing customer experience. And then really Sebastian will take us through what the future holds for Air Canada as well. And then finally, in our Fireside Q&A chat, we'll really talk through some of Air Canada's lessons learned from their migration to Amazon Connect. And Air Canada's advice for organizations that are contemplating a CX transformation journey. And then finally, what the future holds for Air Canada as they look to the future. So let's get started. Now, there are many challenges that we hear from our customers in terms of their customer experience. Now, we hear that customers are telling us that they're experiencing very disconnected customer journeys. So for example, if their journey starts through web-based self-service, and for whatever reason they need to escalate into agent assistance, there is no contextual information that accompanies that escalation to the agent. The first questions that the agent asks, who are you and how can I help, right? No information in the journey to that point in time. That is not an effortless experience. And agents are often forced to use inefficient workflows, toggling between many back-end systems, often 6 to 10 different back-end systems to serve their customers. And then supervisors and managers lack access to integrated data, not being able to monitor, measure, or improve business outcomes. And then administrators in IT deal with many technology barriers, which leads to slow innovation, high costs, and basically long implementation timeframes. In a 2023 Gartner research survey, one of the greatest challenges that organizations faced was moving fast enough to keep up with the way that customers want to experience support. And these challenges and other challenges that we hear at Amazon tell us that organizations aren't happy with the experiences their contact center is providing to their customers. Is that the case? Is that a challenge that you're experiencing? Yeah, absolutely. Now, they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. I think this one is worth 1,050. So why begin a journey with self-service? Well, 46% of customers would rather go to the dentist than talk to your contact center. Think about that. I hate dentists personally. Now, see if you can relate to this. See if you've had this experience yourself. You spend 10 minutes researching a customer support number on an organization's website and finally find the number in small print on an obscure page. you make the call and you're put on hold for a crazy long period of time. And the music hold, it's terrible, right? It's like a Muzak version of Achy Breaky Heart or something like that. And they don't tell you how long it's going to take. So you just wait and you wonder, and finally somebody answers. Now, you take the time to tell them your name, your address, your mother's maiden name. You tell them an answer to their security question. And finally, you spend another 5 minutes really telling them what your problem is and your story. So you're getting excited, you're hoping that finally you're about to get some help, but your dreams are shattered when the agent says, "That's not my department." So they transfer you to somebody that they feel is empowered, that's going to be able to help you, and it starts all over again. The next agent and the next experience is no better than the last. This is just simply unacceptable. It is not a great customer experience. Can anybody relate to that? Yeah, quite a few. I've experienced that myself. We need to do better. We need to be able to be more customer-centric, and we need to make that an effortless experience. Now, the reality is that the single biggest cost in the contact center, it's not the cost of technology or the cost of network services. It's the cost of agent resources. And if we can find the way to increase containment through self-service experiences and deflect those interactions from even coming into the contact center, that is going to drive a huge cost out of the business, but it's also going to positively impact customer service as well. 70% of your customers would actually prefer to self-serve versus speak to one of your agents. And in many respects, the contact center has become an exception center. But if that interaction needs to be escalated, we need to make sure that we're empowering the agent with contextual information to serve the customer. And from a self-service perspective, those interactions need to be personalized. They need to be effortless. So there's such a tremendous opportunity to transform the customer experience via self-serve. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to really digest this slide. It's really quite surprising. Interestingly enough, customers prefer to engage with an organization via the phone. And as you can see from this slide, it has not gone down. In fact, the preference has actually increased. In a 2022 survey, 61% of customer experience leaders basically reported an increase in terms of calls into their contact center, not a decrease, an actual increase. And the statistics for 2023 and 2024 are actually consistent with this as well. Does this surprise anybody? Yeah. Now, there is an absolute tremendous amount of excitement on the promise of generative AI for chat, but it's still not the channel of preference. When people have an issue and they want customer service, they still pick up the phone. Now, interactive voice response systems, IVR, remains the most important connection between companies and customers in many sectors, accounting for twice as many interactions as calls with live agents and 5 times more than text-based chat. And the demand for these services is only increasing. Now, the global market for IVR is actually expected to reach $9.2 billion by 2030. Which is up from an estimated $2.9 billion in 2022. Now, the results can be spectacular. We've seen next generation IVR systems deliver a 5-fold improvement in customer satisfaction scores. They accelerate issue resolution, and they substantially reduce the number of live agent calls. And across industries, 7 out of 10 companies report that their containment rate, which is a measure of the percentage of calls that remain in the IVR, is 30% or less. That is a tremendous opportunity for us all. All right, last set of stats, I promise. Now that we understand how important IVR is to customer experience, these statistics really help us understand where to focus to get things right for customers. Now, first, let's consider why customers abandon your IVR and self-service in the first place. Now, 36% abandon because it is just too complicated. It is too long. There are far too many options. It's very analogous to customer effort. It is too difficult for a customer to try and get an answer to their problem. While 67% abandon because they don't have confidence that the system will help them fulfill what their request or their intent is. And this could be based on a couple of things. They perhaps could have initiated self-service with your organization in the past, and they weren't able to complete their self-service transaction. Or it may be reflective of their lack of confidence in your system to understand their intent or the issue that they're trying to solve for. So how do we get it right? The first thing that we have to do, number one, is make it easy. You've heard me say, make it effortless. We need to make it as easy as possible for the self-service to be adopted. Connect customers, Amazon Connect customers that upgraded their DTMF IVR and directed dialogue to natural language understanding have seen a tremendous improvement and decrease in the amount of time that they're actually staying within the IVR. Additionally, McKinsey, and these statistics are from a study from McKinsey, additionally, McKinsey found that personalizing customer experience can drive as much as a 25% improvement in customer satisfaction. And they also found that when organizations integrated with back-end systems and they anticipated the reasons that customers are contacting and proactively provided offers, that provided an additional 2 to 5% containment within the IVR. And just for a little bit of context, a 2 to 5% containment in an enterprise organization with high call volumes, that could actually drive $6 to $15 million in operational savings in the contact center. It is just an enormous opportunity. So let's talk about how Amazon Connect is solving for customer experience challenges. Now, Amazon Connect is AWS's market-leading native cloud contact center solution, and it was developed to meet the needs for scalability and business agility for Amazon retail. And today, Amazon Connect has tens of thousands of customers, fulfilling more than 10 million contact center interactions a day. Now, artificial intelligence and machine learning have always been the backbone of Amazon Connect since the very beginning, when we transformed customer experience and how our customers interacted with conversational chatbots and IVR. And we've continued to invest in this critical area over the years, delivering better experiences while empowering customer experience leaders to do more with less, including conversational analytics and real-time caller authentication. And today, we're enhancing capabilities even more with generative AI to deliver even greater insights and efficiencies across the contact center. Now, artificial intelligence enables Connect's forecasting, capacity planning, and scheduling, we call it FCS, to deliver highly accurate forecasts and schedules. And generative AI enhances and enables more conversational self-service experiences, increasing the opportunity for better containment and deflection. Plus, we accelerate the design and the time to market for voice and digital self-service experiences. And using generative AI, Amazon Q for Connect includes real-time agent assist, empowering agents by surfacing suggested responses and actions and links within the agent desktop so they can efficiently serve their customer. And really enable that agent to focus not on toggling between multiple back-end systems to find information, but focusing instead on customer engagement. And generative AI also powers powerful contact summarization capabilities for both supervisors and agents, saving significant time and providing more concise and complete summaries. And organizations such as Neo Financial, as an example, have been able to reduce handle time by approximately 90 seconds because they don't have to, the agents no longer have to actually take notes. So it represents a very significant opportunity. Now, AWS loves seeing the efficiency that all these new capabilities deliver to our customers. And we continue to invest in generative AI to really focus on providing real value to our customers while ensuring the right level of security, accuracy, and observability. Now, I want to quickly highlight a new Amazon Connect launch. And if you attended Pasquale's session, you heard about this. Now, last year we announced Amazon Q and Connect, which was a generative AI assistant, which I just mentioned, that contact center agents can use to really view recommended responses, actions, and links to more information so they can better assist customers. And this week, we announced that Amazon Q and Connect can now be used for end customer self-service experiences. So really, really exciting. Companies can deploy an out-of-the-box, customizable virtual assistant across both voice as well as digital channels, such as SMS and chat. And customers can leverage generative AI to really address a wider variety of customer service inquiries and intents. And this will really create a more personalized experience, and it will be more capable of handling ambiguous and more complex inquiries. And this one's special to me, and when we need to escalate from self-service to agent assistance, there is a smooth handoff. The contextual information of that self-service experience will be handed off to the agent, and they will be able to have all the relevant information to quickly address the customer's inquiries and really enhance the overall customer experience. And you should also know that guardrails can now be used to ensure that Amazon Q and Connect's responses are constrained to only company-related topics, and professional communication standards can be applied to self-service experiences. And just so you know, this also means that agent assistance recommendations, we can ensure that we're protecting personal identifiable information as well. So really, really excited that Amazon Q and Connect now is your generative AI assistant for customer service as well as agent assistance. So really excited about this announcement this week. So let's explore what's possible with Amazon Connect. Now, we have a fictional P&C insurer, any insurance company, and our customer, Nikki, has been an any insurance company customer since 2015. Now, unfortunately, Nikki's hometown has experienced a catastrophic event, and she has experienced some flood damage. Now, Nikki's preference is always to self-serve. She absolutely loves the convenience as well as the efficiency of being able to complete a transaction or get information without having to speak to an agent. Now, Nikki calls in to any insurance company, And Amazon Connect uses the caller ID to identify who the customer is and to be able to extend a more personalized experience. We identify that the caller is Nikki Wolf, a home insurance policyholder, and Ava, the virtual assistant, thanks Nikki for being a valued customer since 2015. And through conversational IVR, we're able to identify that Nikki has experienced property damage to her home. We also learned that she needs to file a claim as well as potentially source a local approved home insurance as a home insurance inspector, to assess the damage. Now, after empathizing with Nikki and inquiring about her safety, Amazon Connect basically presents the option to initiate the claims filing process and provide information on nearby property inspectors. Now, Amazon Connect understands Nikki's intent and guides her through the property claims filing process. And Nikki provides all of the relevant details about the incident, and we initiate the claim and we provide her with a claim number. Now, Nikki is sent a text message with confirmation of her claim filing, as well as the claim, and a link to track the status of her claim. This is a complex situation with a great outcome, and all without speaking to an agent. And insurers such as Liberty Mutual have been able to automate the claims filing process and empower their customers to initiate a claim in the event of a catastrophic event in under 4 minutes. And Liberty Mutual's customers, they don't have to sit on hold for 60 to 90 minutes. They can efficiently complete their claim, and then they can get back to what's important, which is putting their lives back together again. Now, if Nikki had preferred to speak to an agent, her interaction would have been effortlessly escalated to agent assistance with context. Context is key. And the agent would have been empowered with intuitive agent assist tools within the desktop to efficiently help Nikki open her claim. Now, these tools really drive key contact center KPIs, things like lower average handle time, an increase in first call resolution, and a decrease in transfers. And let's not forget lower agent attrition and higher customer satisfaction as well, because there is a direct correlation between a happy, empowered agent and a happy, satisfied customer. In just 7 years, Amazon Connect has become one of the fastest growing services in AWS history. And as I mentioned earlier, tens of thousands of customers of all sizes use Amazon Connect for more than 10 million customer interactions a day. And large organizations like Intuit and Capital One love being able to experiment and move with the agility of a startup. And companies with smaller customer service teams love that they can get a ready-to-use enterprise-grade contact center solution at startup prices. And since it's easy to get started and configure Amazon Connect, AWS is in a very enviable position to help customers realize benefits. And our strategy of working closely with our customers to innovate and to solve real-world problems together has resonated and helped drive this growth. And now, I'm so thrilled to introduce Sebastian Cosgrove, who is the Director of Global Customer Service from Air Canada. Sebastian?
Thank you, Sheila. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending our session. I know it's a busy day. It's my first time at re:Invent. It's a bit crazy and overwhelming, but both Sheila and I really appreciate you taking the time to hear our story. So before I jump into Air Canada's journey, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I actually started my career as a flight attendant a number of years ago and had the privilege of traveling the world. I then moved into corporate communications, where I started our enterprise social network, Yammer at the time, which is now Microsoft Viva Engage. And then I moved to our cargo branch, where I started customer relations, then managed contact centers, and now I oversee pre- and post-shipment care for our cargo customers globally. So if you haven't heard of Air Canada before, we're Canada's largest airline, we're the country's flag carrier, and a founding member of the Star Alliance. We service over 180 airports in Canada, the US, and internationally across 6 continents. And we have our own premier loyalty travel program, Aeroplan, where members can redeem amongst the world's biggest airline partner network of 45 airlines, hotels, car rentals, and merchandise. And our freight division, Air Canada Cargo, is Canada's largest air cargo provider as measured by cargo capacity, with self-handled hubs globally. With connections to over 450 cities and direct flights, with comprehensive trucking, Air Canada Cargo's own network mirrors the passenger network to provide our customers with extensive options. So our problem, I would venture to say, was not unique to us as a legacy company. We had increasing call volumes, manual queue processing, and siloed legacy systems that resulted in extremely high wait times, customer frustration, and a high cost per interaction. And this problem became compounded during the pandemic. So let me set the stage, and you're probably thinking, what does the airline guy know about what we go through as customers? I had booked a family trip and ended up during the pandemic, and it was actually canceled. So I had to call my own airline. And I dialed in at 6 in the morning and was immediately placed into a queue. And I got so used to the music, because I was on hold for so long, that I decided to take a nap. And I immediately woke up mid-nap when the music stopped. That's how accustomed and attuned I had become to the repetition and the pattern. And I asked the agent to bear with me while I went down to get my documents. I had been on hold for over 6 hours at that point before speaking with an agent. Now, it wasn't unique to Air Canada. The Wall Street Journal ran an article warning customers to be prepared to be on hold for over a zillion hours if you had to speak to somebody. So what was the cause of this? It was a single queuing system with basic triaging based on the customer's loyalty status. As a basic Aeroplan member, I was the bottom of the pool and had to wait until an agent was able to pick up that phone call. Now, within the contact centers, we used a color-coded system, green, yellow, and red, that was manually updated based on the volume in the queues. Those colors would also drive overtime. So if the queues were all in red, overtime would be hired, and employees would be placed on the queues with the longest wait time. As you can see, it's a very manual process with minimal to no self-service. So what does that look like on the back end? Let me walk you through the IVR prior to our modernization project. The customer, the traveler, would call in and be immediately placed into a queue to be connected with an agent. Now, that agent would have to validate the customer's information, review the issue, and if they couldn't respond, you would enter what Sheila described earlier as IVR hell, where the agent would put you on hold and try to find a resource to support. Now, in our case, the agent would put the customer on hold, and if it was a complex issue like pricing or a multi-airline change, that agent would have to call into a different queue, they themselves being on hold. Therefore, the customer and the agent are both on hold, waiting for another queue to pick up that phone call. At the end of the call, the agent would have to open their email application and send customers the documents. As you can see, minimal to no self-service throughout that entire process, resulting in a very click-heavy manual process flow. We embarked on our modernization journey in 2022, and it was first with Aeroplan, our loyalty program. They moved to Amazon Connect. The following year, our reservations department moved over, followed by our specialty desks. And for us at the airline, specialty desks are medical desks and complex pricing issue desk. So under the project, we worked to shift our IVR options, like what I just described, to a new unified experience, embedded with self-service options for our customers. Now, it included some table stake things today, such as automatic call recording, transcription for agents, sentiment analysis, and the ability for an agent to flag to a supervisor if they needed to intervene. But we took it a step further, and we integrated PNRs, or bookings for our customers, into the IVR. We introduced innovative callback features, which I'll describe a little bit later, where the customer would be contacted first before the agent connected to the phone call, reducing average handle time and helping us improve our cost savings. And now we're mining transcripts for insights into the customer journey, which will help us further improve our product and further improve the overall customer experience. We're cross-training agents to further reduce wait times and to optimize productivity and reduce expenses related to hiring. It was a monumental project, but let me walk you through what it looks like on the back end and add some context to around each of the areas. So as you can see, as the traveler, I'm going to dial in. If I'm using my cell phone that's linked with my loyalty number, the system will recognize that, and it will ask me to authenticate. If I'm using a different phone number, it will ask me to input my loyalty number, and then it'll ask me to validate the phone number. Once I'm through there, then I'm going to be authenticated, and the system will look at my loyalty reservations and proactively prompt me about my latest booking. If I want to discuss that booking, I'll continue through the IVR. Now, our first self-service deflection is here. If I didn't book directly with the airline, and I booked with a third party, such as Expedia or a travel agency, I'm immediately advised as the traveler that the airline cannot assist and to please speak with the booking agency. That call is now fully deflected and it never reaches an agent. Now, if I book directly with the airline, I'm sent another one-time passcode to open that booking to allow the agent to make adjustments or so I can be sent information. Once I've authenticated, the intent of the call is captured. Now, if I'm calling about basic informational things such as seat selection, baggage allowance, pre-ordering a meal, I'm texted links to where to find that information, or I'm emailed a document package depending on my preference. That call never reaches an agent. It is fully contained within the IVR. But if I have a more complex issue and I need to speak to an agent, the intent of the call is already captured, and I can add additional information before being connected. As soon as that call is routed to an agent, the customer, me, has already been authenticated. I know the intent of the phone call, and I can start working on the problem right away. As you can see, a very different IVR experience from the one I shared with you before. So this graph shows you how many self-service calls are handled within our IVR. In November of 2022, we were just shy of 30,000 phone calls. Now we're consistently handling over 140,000 phone calls contained within the IVR. You'll notice the peaks in June and July. These relate to our typical heavy summer operations, and we saw the same peaks happen again this year in 2024. So Sheila shared some stats with you. I'll share some as well. And the results really speak for themselves. Sheila mentioned the power of Amazon Connect and the benefits of self-service embedded within the IVR, and we've started to realize these benefits. So through self-service options being texted to a customer, we've realized a 15% reduction in overall contact center volumes. Leveraging the customer callback capabilities and self-service deflection, we've realized an 8% reduction in abandonment rates. Now, 15% of all the calls we receive to our loyalty and general lines are of informational status, such as how do I pick my seat, how many bags am I allowed, and can I order a special meal? Now, the IVR self-service capabilities allow us to handle 78% of those phone calls completely self-contained within the IVR, removing the need for an agent to get involved. The addition of the automatic authentication within the IVR as well has reduced our handle time by 20 seconds. The average call now when speaking with an agent is 8 minutes, 45 seconds. Now, the biggest savings. We've realized 190 FTE savings by self-service deflection, and that equates to $4.7 million Canadian. So that's a mammoth number. Let me break it down of how we came to those figures. So 123 FTEs were saved through self-service containment. 57 through the callback feature, and an additional 4 through the customer first callback feature. And how we determined these numbers is we looked at the average handle time saved at each step of the way along the IVR processing and averaged it across the total number of contacts within our contact centers. So the customer first callback feature is unique in the sense in a traditional callback feature, the agent is connected while the customer then picks up the phone, authenticates, and revalidates their information. We've actually flipped that model. So the agent remains on the phone handling other customer issues, and the system will call out to the customer to allow them to connect first. They authenticate, they re-advise the intent of their call, and then they're connected with an agent. So during that time, our agents stay busy throughout the entire period. There's no downtime in their work. And from a customer side, it's seamless. You're answering the questions, and on the back end, you're connected with an agent. The largest pool of those savings, of that 190 FTE though, came from self-service deflection within the IVR. So let's shift gears a little bit. I've talked to you about the passenger side, and now I'm going to talk to you about the cargo side, which took a slightly different journey. So prior to the cargo modernization, we manually counted emails in Outlook to determine work volume. Agents would pick emails out of an inbox, drag them into their personal folders, and work from them there. And during the pandemic, we couldn't work from home. Agents had to come into the office to physically pick up a handset. We were a contact center that was still legacy-based. You can imagine very difficult to manage during a stressful situation, and we had no visibility on queues, wait times, or overall volumes. Our reporting was largely anecdotal and driven by the employees. And apart from some basic analytics from our telephony system, which gave us an average over every 30 minutes, our reporting was anecdotal, which makes it difficult to drive engagement, improvement, and innovation. And with our growth during the pandemic and that need for business continuity, we embarked on our modernization journey. And it started with Salesforce Service Cloud powered by Amazon Connect. So unlike the passenger side, which uses Amazon Connect and a custom in-house dashboard that sits over top, we elected to use Salesforce. And we took the journey and we separated it into multiple phases. And the reason for that was threefold. First, we were doing a transformational shift for how our agents would do work. Moving emails from the inbox to their folders in Outlook is one way of doing business, but we needed to have metrics. We wanted quality. We wanted to engage the agents more to make them specialists as opposed to just working on transactional queues. But that's a fundamental shift for our frontline people and for our management team. So what we did in phase one is we took just emails and we shifted them into Salesforce Service Cloud. And then we gave ourselves a year before we looked at telephony and integrating that into that single pane of glass view. And the reason for this delay was twofold. One, we wanted to give ourselves time to get used to Salesforce, both on the management and the frontline side. But two, we wanted to improve the experience for our agents. So we took all of their pain points from phase one and fixed them for phase two to build that trust in the program. And now we're at phase three, where we're looking at leveraging AI, enhancing self-service options for our customers to alleviate additional hiring and improve cross-training. You've seen this slide before. I know Salesforce pumps it out quite a bit, but we wanted that single pane of glass view for our agents. We really wanted them to be able to see everything about a customer in one screen. So prior to our shift to Salesforce, the agents would have multiple systems open, have to click around, and a lot of it was tribal knowledge. If you knew the job, you knew what to do. But for new employees coming in, was an awful experience. If you had to shadow next to a senior employee who didn't want to train you, you picked up a fraction of the knowledge you needed to be successful. So what we did is we connected the Sales Cloud. So when agents got a contact on their screen, they could see the status of the customer, ongoing issues, how much they spend with us, and was there already issues in the queue? So if the customer had put in their case number in the IVR, it pulled out all the emails as well. So the agent could handle 2 transactions at once, all within that single pane. The best part was telephony was seamlessly integrated. So we spent time getting the agents used to the Salesforce interface, and then we plugged in the telephone with Amazon Connect. Our use case, if you look on the side of the screen, was to run our contact center from anywhere. We needed that business continuity. We wanted to boost agent productivity on phone calls, and we wanted to be able to supervise and coach from anywhere. Now, I'm not going to go through the value drivers of that partnership with AWS and Salesforce, but I will touch on our success metrics. We wanted first contact resolution. We had no way of measuring it before, so we were starting from a baseline of 0. We wanted to improve our CSAT scores and be able to measure this after each interaction. Agent performance, supervisor downtime, and average handle time were also metrics that we looked at, as well as call wrap-up time. We didn't want the agents to be able to trick the system to cheat it to give them more time. We wanted to automate it. And just like the passenger side, our results are in. We realized a 0.5 reduction in our abandonment rates. That single pane of glass view where agents weren't clicking around to find information actually reduced our average handle time by 120 seconds or 2 minutes. And the customer callback feature embedded with knowledge articles helped further reduce our average handle time. We're now at about 4 minutes per phone call. Improved productivity was huge for us. It improved by over 20%. Now, part of the reason we had such a huge gain was because prior to our integration with Service Cloud Voice, we had generic statuses such as away, ready, and training. Now we could mine the data to understand what were agents doing and how do we get them to be ready to help our customers at all times. And QA was huge. Our QA program prior to our modernization was paper-based. Agents would score themselves, managers would score them, and we would meet. It took on average of 89 hours a month or 11 working days to process our contact centers through QA. It's fully automated and the scores are populated onto a dashboard. Agents can contest the scores, but they have to justify why they're contesting the scores and put in evidence from the phone call. We've now moved to real-time coaching and supervise assist. We've built a solid digital foundation, just like the passenger side, helping us with our future growth. With more to come, because we're not done yet. While both modernization projects have closed and moved to internal IT products, we're looking at what's coming. And so both sides of the business are continuing to focus on self-service and its evolution within the aviation ecosystem. Now, this includes virtual assistants, leveraging generative AI to assist customers before transferring them to an agent. Agent guidance on both the cargo and the passenger side is in development, and the tool will summarize the issue and provide guided workflows to agents or recommendations on what to do next. And we're creating a feedback loop where if the agents give it an up symbol or a down symbol or make changes, that'll be fed back into the system. And eventually we'll flip it to the public-facing side. So we're internally training it before we expose it to the public. And while chat is not offered today, we're looking at leveraging our omni-channel experience to add chat functionality with generative AI for our customers and for our internal teams. So thank you, and I'll pass it back to Sheila for our fireside chat.
That was great. Thank you so much, Sebastian. You know, I have to congratulate you and your teams for such phenomenal business results. And I really love the fact that you had two distinct lines of business, Air Canada and then Air Canada Cargo. But ultimately, you were able to use Amazon Connect in both, albeit Air Canada Cargo with Service Cloud Voice, and just really be able to see those tremendous business results. So congratulations. I think that's just been phenomenal. So now we're going to have our fireside chat. You know, I'm really curious, what really was the reason that Air Canada chose Amazon Connect in the first place?
So I didn't ask, but how many Canadians are in the audience today? Okay, so for those Canadians, you know this already. For those who aren't Canadian, in Canada, there's only 5 major telecom players. And so as a large organization, you're generally forced to have to pick one. The disadvantage is if one of those telecom players goes down, generally they all sort of fail at the same time because they share that infrastructure. So for us, business continuity was key, as well as the ability to scale and to manage our global operations. So with that, on both the passenger and the cargo side, we elected to use Amazon Connect. It really did provide us that out-of-the-box scalability and ability to customize that both areas of the business needed.
Great, fantastic. And again, even though very divergent lines of business, really some very similar business results at the end of the day, which was tremendous. We talked about those business results a little bit earlier. I'm really curious, were there any significant lessons learned throughout your journey and your migrations?
I will say to anyone that's thinking of migrating over or embarking on a modernization journey, extend your timelines. And we keep hearing how simple things are and how easy it should be, but when you're talking about people and legacy systems and multi-branch products, it takes time to make these changes and to do them successfully. I think anyone can run in and quickly pull something that's out of the box, but if you want to make it meaningful and have meaningful results, you have to do it right the first time. Because if you don't, you're never going to get the employee trust in the tool, which makes the change even harder to continue. But also from a customer side, you don't want to impact your customers negatively by having a half-baked product, if I may. So my first piece of advice would be to elongate your timelines. And my second piece would be to watch for scope creep. It's very easy to keep adding and the latest and greatest tools. And I heard in a different session this week from Toyota that there's all these tools out there, but it's very easy and can become very cost prohibitive very quickly if you don't contain the scope of the project. So check your timelines and watch your scope if you're about to embark on a modernization project.
Great, fantastic. And I would also add to that, have a well-defined strategy and vision up front as well, right?
Yeah, and that'll guide you with all the new tools and technologies that are out there. What do you need to hit out of the gate and what can you add on after? What can you iterate on as you progress through your Amazon Connect or Salesforce journey?
Yeah, absolutely, terrific. Now, would you have done anything differently than what you did?
A very interesting question, and I know we've practiced this and my answer changes all the time. I would say probably I would focus more on the employees. And so I'll tell you a cargo anecdote. When we were launching Salesforce, we had prepped for months within the sandbox, the test space. And the night of the launch, I called the team because we were all in the different contact centers and I said, I don't think this is going to work. I just did a training session and I've taught this agent for 3 weeks now and she still doesn't know what to do. I don't think it's going to go off tomorrow. And it was actually a unionized team member that said, relax, people will figure it out. It's training, we'll be fine. So, and we were fine. There was some blips and some road bumps, but overall we were fine. So what I would do differently is I would focus more on the people aspect. We don't hear enough about the change management of the frontline people involved. Yeah. And I think now more than ever, we have to be, especially with generative AI coming in the contact center space, employees are worried. They don't know if it's going to replace their jobs, so there's already resistance to adding new tools. So we really have to focus on the people. And if I was to take a step back, I would focus more on the people and engaging them early on in the process. That way they're coming along with you throughout the whole journey.
Yeah, fantastic. And it's really that three-legged stool, isn't it? People, process, and technology. And if you ignore one of them, the stool's going to fall over.
That's exactly it. So people, and then on the process side, it's knowledge management. If you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out of your AI. So you have to have a solid knowledge management foundation and processes in place to check it. And that was one thing that we took for granted. So we thought we had a solid knowledge management program until the AI started recommending things. And we couldn't figure out, why is it recommending how to book an animal if someone's calling about shipping a Christmas package? It was because of the keywords on the end, how we had coded it, how we had programmed it to respond or to pull up those articles. So we had to go back and do some course correcting there, but the process side, the technology side, and the people side, your three-legged stool is critical for project success.
Fantastic. So we have obviously a broad audience and a number of customers that are in the audience. What advice would you give to other organizations that are embarking on a CX transformation journey? What sort of thought leadership would you give them?
Well, I've said it before, I'll say it again, check your timelines and do your research. There's a lot of options and tools and programs out there. So make sure you're picking one that's right for your business, that is scalable, that can support your growth, and that will be a partner. All too often, people are quick to sign the contracts and then that's it. You really want to find someone that's going to be a partner. And when you do find that partner, read your contract. What's included? What features are already there that you may be leaving on the table? Sheila talked today about all the great features within Connect. Those may already be in your contract and you can leverage them today, but you may not know it. In my organization, strategic procurement is separate, so they negotiate the contract and tell us, okay, these are your licenses, you're good to go. But if I want to actually see the full contract and what's included, I have to ask for it or request it. So I would recommend that once you sign with your partner of choice, read the contract, see what's included, and make sure you're leveraging all of those options that ultimately you're paying for.
Great. No, that's great insight, Sebastian.
Sorry, Sheila, but I'll flip it. What would you also say to customers looking to embark on this?
You know, I am a big believer in, really defining what your strategy and your vision is up front, right? And focus in on business outcomes. What are the desired business outcomes that you're trying to achieve? Don't focus on features. Focus on business outcomes. And that will be the path that will ultimately get you to where you need to be.
I think that's solid advice, considering how many features we've seen launched just this week alone, that if you're trying to pick them, they're forever changing.
It's true. Well, absolutely. Absolutely. Any other words of wisdom before we wrap things up, Sebastian?
I don't. I would say you saw our impressive results, but that's been years in the making and multiple iterations. It looks great on a slideshow, and I can show you the numbers and how easy it is. But what I'm not showing you is the behind the scenes coding, the outages, the training, and the ongoing tweaking that happens on a daily basis to make sure that we're functioning at our best to provide the best possible experience to traveling Canadians or international people who are using Air Canada for maybe the first time. But what I would say is it's an exciting journey. Have fun with it, build the right team, and make sure you're bringing your people along. Because if you're in the contact center space, it still is largely powered by people. It's powered by agents, and we need them on our side as we progress in the future with generative AI and more self-service tools, because ultimately they're going to become specialists in what they do. If all of the easy phone calls are deflected and they're only getting the tough ones, we have to upskill them for those tough phone calls. So don't forget about the people along your IT journey.
Great. Fantastic. As I said, fantastic insights and words of wisdom. I really appreciate that, Sebastian. This concludes our session today on how Air Canada is transforming customer service across their lines of business. And I want to again express my gratitude, Sebastian. I thought you did a fantastic job and really appreciate all the wonderful insights that you provided us. And again, the tremendous business outcomes that your team and the Air Canada team was able to achieve through the adoption of Amazon Connect. So congratulations once again. Now, I do want to encourage you to fill out your survey. It's important to us and it absolutely informs future sessions. And Sebastian and I are going to be sticking around for the next little while. So if you have any follow-on questions, please come up and we'd love to talk to you. But thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. Thank you.